Hey guys, it's Greg here, and today we're going to learn how to make a child theme for your WordPress blog or website. I'm going to show you exactly what files and folders to create and where to put everything so that you know it works. I know that the codex can sometimes be a little bit confusing, but trust that I've read through all of this in detail. And then the ultimate end goal will be that we have a new style.css file that you can edit. And in that file, you can go ahead and write in new CSS that will actually change the website that you're working on. I'm just going to write in a couple different CSS lines here for font and font size and save it, and then show you how that'll show up on our demo WordPress site in the 2016 theme. So watch this nav menu on the right. Alright, that's just one example of how to use the child theme and use the CSS properly. In the past, I have advocated using plugins like Site Origin CSS or maybe just a different custom CSS window to change your WordPress site design and the little details that CSS can change. However, I'm now recommending the child themes, and I'm just switching that because it works really well on the default themes like 2014, 2015, and 2016, which we're working on again right here, and because it's a good way to learn how to develop WordPress themes. If you want to know how to do that, starting child themes is a great intro to it, and I do want to do development now. After all, who doesn't want to have their own WordPress theme with their name on it someday, where people can use your theme in appearance themes, just like we're using the 2016 child right here. Alright, so let's get started and let's do this start to finish. I should also note that there's a lot of guides on the web on how to make a child theme, and almost all of them will be outdated at this moment in time that I published the video in January 2016, because WordPress has now changed the best practice way of setting up these themes and writing in the code. I'll identify both methods because some parts still work, and then I'll give you the best method, the old method and the new method. So while those other guides might be quality, they might render errors on your site or make the WordPress not even show up, which is the worst thing ever. In any case, you are guaranteed this one will work. Now, the very first step you're going to need to do is log into cPanel, and if you created a WordPress website using HostGator, then this is what it'll look like. You might also have cPanel through GoDaddy or other hosts. So this is how we're going to do it. If your cPanel or your backend looks different, then just drop me a comment below and I'll walk you through it. The steps will be the same in terms of the folders and the files. Things just might look a little bit different, and the buttons might look different. For example, you can also do this in FileZilla, which is how some people recommend, but if you have cPanel, this is the best way to do it. Once you log in, just click File Manager in Files, and then you're going to want to open up the document root for whatever site you're working on. So I'm working on wpthemeguides.com. Then click Go. It doesn't matter what's checked right here, but we're going to show hidden files just in case we need that, and then click Go. Once we're in this main public html/yoursite.com folder, we want to double click on WP content and just double click on the blue folder. Alright, and now we want to double click on themes. If you click on the word, it'll ask if you want to rename the file, which we do not. So double click on the folder, and now we're in the place where we want to create the folder for our new child theme, and I'll show you the right formatting right now. So just click New Folder, not New File, but New Folder. And for a new folder name, write in 2016, in our case, -child. And then click Create New Folder. If you're making a child theme for Vantage, write in Vantage-child. Or for 2015, write in 2015-child. And at the same time, you also need to make sure that that theme that you're using is activated in themes like Vantage or 2015, or in our case 2016, so that WordPress communicates properly. and keep everything lowercase. Now we can double click and open our new folder, which is empty. And it's time to make some files. Alright guys, so to make our first new file, just click New File, and then type in style.css and click Enter. And you'll get a new CSS file, which if we click and then click Edit, should be blank. Alright, so that's great. You're making really good progress. And let's actually open that style.css file up, and I'll show you exactly what needs to go in it at a bare minimum. So click Edit again, and now make sure your cursor is in the far upper left corner. And we're going to refer to WordPress, where they say the next step is to create your child theme style sheet. This is where we are right now. And we want to copy in this code right here from the star to the star on top and bottom. Alright, so now we can just copy the code from WordPress with a right click, copy, and paste it in our new style.css folder. Next, I'm going to show you exactly which parts you need to edit and which parts you can leave alone or just change for fun. You absolutely need to edit the template line, and that needs to match the parent folder of your parent theme. In our case, this needs to say 2016 lowercase, but if you're using something like Vantage, then it will probably just say Vantage lowercase. And feel free to double check with me in the comments below for what template should say for your specific theme. Next, we're going to want to change theme name so we know what theme name to choose in Appearance Themes. And it looks like WordPress is already picking up a 2015 child because our cPanel is auto-saving. So let's make that a 2016 child and change the URI to the right theme URI, which I have right here for 2016. And then change the description as well. As for author and author URI, you can make those equal to your own name and your own website if you want. Like, here's my author name, and maybe my URL is just the YouTube channel. Alright, that all should be working fine, and if you'd really like to be a minimalist, you can also delete everything after version, which would leave it looking just like this. Now it's time to save. Now we're going to cover the older method of using a child theme and syncing the child theme with the parent theme. The older method was just to write in one line of code that started with @import. Let's copy that and let's paste that in. And it would look just like this in your new style.css theme. The import line tells this child theme to import the original parent theme, which is the folder denoted by this word right here, and then import the style.css file within it, so that when you write in new CSS down below this line, you're basically writing it below the entire style sheet from the parent folder. That's sort of like writing new CSS at the bottom of that file in Appearance Editor, which is another way of changing the CSS. It's like having all the original CSS at the top and then new CSS at the bottom. And that works because CSS operates in a hierarchical manner. If there's old CSS above new CSS, it's that new CSS at the bottom that's going to be read and that will overwrite the CSS above it. Alright, so if we save file now and we go back to our site, we can go to our theme section and we can actually activate the 2016 child theme. Just open it up. We see our name because we're now the author, and we can just click activate, and hopefully things don't break. Alright, great job so far, nothing broke. In the 2016 default theme, some items might be missing when you change to a child theme, like the header banner, but you just have to re-add them and things will work fine. Continuing in this old method, because we're using the @import line, we could actually start writing in some new CSS. And we can get that CSS from the right-click import option, which is available in Chrome and Firefox. And maybe we find some code going down the document tree and seeing what's highlighted above it for the navigation menu, which I get to pretty quickly because I just have already done this before. Alright, so maybe we want to change some of this main navigation, and we want to change the font. And on the right in styles, I see that the font is Montserrat, which we can uncheck, and the font will change above us in the preview window. Now, changing fonts right here can be done. You can write in new fonts like Arial and they'll change, but that's not a permanent change. It's just a preview of how your site could look, meaning those changes won't show up on the live version of your site. To make that change permanent, we need to copy the CSS selector, which in this case is .main navigation, and now we need to put that into the new style.css file by pasting. And this is how the child themes really come to life. Using this method, we can now write in our own CSS, like font family, and maybe make it Times New Roman, and then save. And those changes should be permanent on main navigation. So let's refresh, and we can see that worked great. Congratulations. Those new changes we made even show up in the right-hand column, and we can add to them using our child themes style.css file by writing in font size, like that, for example. There are, of course, millions of different CSS selectors you could use to change your site, and so on and so forth. And that new font size is picked up as well. To tie this all together for you, the reason our new CSS works is because we're importing the old CSS from the parent folder, which if we close our child theme and go back, we can find that parent CSS in 2016 without the dash child, and that's right here. We're importing this file into the theme, and then we're just overwriting it. And we're overwriting it from our child theme, which is in our child theme folder in the style.css. The entire 2016 theme and the parent theme is still running. All the files are working and the original CSS is there. All we're doing is making these small, light little edits in the child theme, and those basically go on top of or overwrite the original theme. Now, as I mentioned, that's the old way of doing things, and that's because WordPress just decided to change and make a new, better practice. I'm not sure why at the moment, but one thing for certain is that when WordPress tells you that something like @import is no longer the best practice, you can be sure that it'll start causing problems sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and set up the new method for creating a child theme. We can leave our child theme activated in themes, and we just need to go back to our child theme folder and make some new additions in this folder. And we can always get to our child theme folder just by manually writing in that file name in the go bar. Or maybe it'll help just to go to themes and click go. Alright, and now the new method requires that we create a functions.php file in our child theme. You will therefore need to create a functions.php in your child theme directory. So, complying with this new method, we can make that new file. And to do that, I'm just going to get the original file and copy it. Let's go to the 2016 parent folder and click on functions.php and then copy it. And after you do that, just write in the directory of the folder where you want that to go. So themes/2016 child, and we want it going in the child folder. Just like this, 2016-child or your theme-child. Then click copy or enter. Alright, and at the moment I'm also going to copy in the footer file because we're going to make some nice edits to the copyright section, which a lot of people have been asking about because footer usually gets overwritten when there's a theme update and people want that section specific and not overwritten on their websites. So let's send this to 2016 child as well. And again, we're just copying from one location and we're sending it or copying the file to a new folder. Copy files. Now let's go back and open 2016 child and we'll have our functions.php. And I want to warn you to not mess with this site or refresh while you're doing this, because if you do so, you might get an awful error like this, which I bet at least a few of you have seen before, and that can be pretty terrifying. Alright, so don't refresh the site. Just follow me along in your file manager, and we'll be just fine together, and things will work in a second. What we need to do now to get things working properly is open up functions. So on functions.php, just click edit. And this part's really simple. We just want to copy this code from the alligator PHP to the close question mark alligator. Just this part, which will work great with the 2016 default theme or any theme where there's only one main style.css to hold all the CSS, which should be most themes. And then we're going to hit Control A, Control V, and just write that in our new functions.php. And then save. That's it. Just copy paste some code, no editing. Paste, save, close. Alright, now once we do that, we want to go back to style.css and edit it and remove that old line, that at import line, which is old. So just delete this. And now you can save. And close, and with that done, your site should be working just fine, and you won't get that error message, which is obviously very important and a relief. At this point, congratulations, you now have a new child theme set up with the exact recommended best practice method from WordPress themselves for 2016 and onwards. Congratulations. You can now do some serious damage in this child theme folder. I'm not sure why clicking back takes us to different folders, but it's sort of like a browser. You never really know where back is going. And in this new folder, we can leave functions.php alone. Definitely we can change style.css. Maybe we want to edit style.css and write in some new code, like to make this content section 100% of the width and not include this little blurb with the date and the categories. It's always the best idea to go to inspect, and then you can just find the right section using this sort of climbing down the tree method. So maybe we want entry content to be 100% width. We can just click this area, which is the selector, copy it, paste, use that open bracket and write in a new width of 100%, close bracket, and then save. And then refresh, and you'll see those changes on your site, like a full width content. Alright, we're going to make one more edit to our website using our child themes folder, and that's to the footer. So let's say you want to change this copyright section at the bottom of your 2016 default theme, because why would you want a link that goes to WordPress? Even though they made it, they're awesome. You probably want a link that goes to some of your own work or just says made by yourself. Well, I know that footer section is all the way at the bottom in colophon in footer, and I know that the section we want to change is called site info. But we can't change these words with CSS. We can only change how these words look. And we barely can even do that much because it's not very helpful in the site info. What we need to do is change the file itself. And we want to change that original file, which would be in Appearance Editor. Of course, it's not, because we're using a child theme, and all we have in the child theme is just the CSS and the functions. However, because before I copy pasted that footer.php file in from the parent folder to the child folder, it actually is in here, we can click it and open it and just make some edits right here in Appearance Editor like maybe you always wanted. And that's the exact same as editing the footer.php file from your child theme by highlighting and clicking Edit. The nice thing is the changes we make in here won't be overwritten now when we update our parent theme, because it just updates files in the parent theme directory when we hit update on WordPress. It won't update the files in the child theme like our new footer.php. So I know that we want to delete some stuff in site title like this link, and I want that to just say copyright 2016 Naraga, just for fun. I'm not actually writing this in for serious, it's just showing you what you could write. And then I just want to delete this link entirely and say proudly powered by me or something like that. Now if you update, alright, and you might want to just make sure you don't delete any of the other little symbols like the divs or stuff like that, and refresh our site, we'll get those changes showing perfectly in your footer section. And again, those won't be erased on a WordPress core update because you're updating the WordPress software in the parent file and you're not touching the files in the child theme folder, if that makes sense. Alright guys, congratulations. You now know everything a beginner needs to know about WordPress child themes, especially as they relate to the default 2016 theme. Alright, all the usual stuff. Please make sure to ask your questions in the comments below. No question on WordPress should go unanswered. You always deserve an answer to your site. Please make sure to rate and share the video. And yeah, I hope you now have a grasp on child themes and they don't blow you away or confuse you like they used to do to me. Alright, some more videos soon. I'll see you next time.